Alright guys, welcome back. We're going to be solving another question from the concept of area moment of inertia, and we have another example from the vector mechanics for engineers by Beer Johnston, where we need to determine the moment of inertia of the shaded area with respect to the x-axis. So the first question that we solved in this chapter was the same question. We just had to find the moment with respect to y-axis, and what we did basically, we defined our strip, which was this tiny rectangle. The way we decided to go with the vertical strip is that going with the horizontal strip, something like that, is going to make the question more complicated, because this side from 0 to h1 is going to be a, and moving after that we're going to have a minus x, was going to make the question more complicated, which is why we decided to go with the vertical strip. And if that's the case, the height would be y, and we define the base basically dx, which is a very small value. So because this is very tiny, we consider this side actually horizontal. So we have our strip, this rectangle. So what we need to do in here is that basically we are trying to find a moment of inertia with respect to x-axis. As I mentioned, we did for y-axis in the previous video, and we need to use the parallel axis theorem to find the moment about each of these axes, because what we have in here, we know that the moment of inertia for a rectangle. So let's say we have this rectangle, and if this is our centroid, we can define the moment of inertia about x and y. So for the rectangle, the moment of inertia with respect to x would be, let's consider this h and this one b, would be 1/12 of the base times the height to the power of 3. And same thing for the y, it's going to be 1/12 of our base would be different when we are going with respect to y, so it will be hb to the 3. And the way we're going to find this is basically based on the formula that we have. Ix is equal to the integral of y squared dx, and iy would be x squared dy. I'm not going to go through this, but at the end we're going to get to these two where we need it in here. So the reason I mentioned this is that we have again that rectangle or the strip here. And what we did for the moment of inertia with y-axis, we basically define iy is equal to integral of x squared times dA. I don't know why I put dx in here. These are all dA. I just remember dA. And if we want to explain how this is coming from, basically it comes from the parallel axis theorem. So our iy is equal to the moment of inertia of the centroid plus a times d squared, where d is the distance. So for iy, because the centroid in here about y-axis, we have this equation where our h in here would be y, and our b is basically dx to the power of 3. Our dx is already a tiny value, so this is going to be 0, which means the moment of inertia here would be 0, and a would be the area of this strip, which is y times dx, and d is basically the distance to the y-axis, which is x squared. We define dA in here, basically dxy, so we got to the same value. So we're gonna have a different story for x-axis because the ix is not 0. So what we're gonna do in here for this question is that, again, we have the same parallel axis theorem this time for x, which is ix plus a times d squared. All right, now the only difference is in here is that we have the moment of inertia with respect to the centroid, so basically this one, where we have our ix this value, so 1/12 times the base, which is dx, and our height is y, so y cubed dx plus the area, which is the area of our strip, y times dx, and the distance that we have in here would be the distance from the centroid to x-axis, which is basically 1/2 of the y, so all to the power of 2. And what we're going to get in here is 1/12 of y cubed dx plus, we can take that one out, will be y cubed over 4 times dx. So if we do the common denominator, which is 12 in here, we're going to get 1 plus 3 y squared, y cubed dx, and that's going to be equal to 1/3 of y cubed dx, which is going to be the moment of inertia with respect to the base of the rectangle that we have. So you guys can memorize this formula. We don't need to go over through this every time, but uh, for the rest of the questions that I'm going to solve, I'm going to go straight to this formula over here, and I just want to go through everything behind it, where this is coming from. And yeah, so now that we have this formula, it's pretty easy. We need to just see what we have for these values. We talked about here that we need the relationship between y and x, because we have dx in here, so we have to find the y based on x. And what we did is that, so we can go with either with the similar triangles, or if we just consider this a right triangle in here where this angle is theta, this side would be h2 minus h1, and this side of our strip where it's kind of like engaging here is y minus h1. So we have two different triangles to look at. One of them is this, and the other one is the big yellow one that we had the first place. And here we can see that tangent of theta is equal to, I'm just gonna clean up what I wrote in here just to see these. So tangent of theta in here would be h2 minus h1 over the base of this, which is a, and we have y minus h1 over this side, which is x. So now we have the relationship between y and x, so y is equal to h2 minus h1 over a times x plus h1. So if you just plug this into our formula in here, so we're gonna have, if we want to find the y-axis in here, so if we take the integral on each side, it's going to be 1/3 of our y, which was h1 plus h2 minus h1 over a times x, all to the power of 3 dx. And for this integral, we're gonna have 1 over 12, also a over h2 minus h1, and everything inside of the parenthesis to the power of 4. And this is going to be from 0, our integral is from 0 to a. So a over 12 h2 minus h1 all to the power of 4 negative, and with 0 it's going to be h to the 4. So now we need to make this a bit simpler. The a in here will be cancelled out, so these two will be that, and what we're going to have is a over 12 h2 minus h1 times, we're going to have h2 to the 4 minus h1 to the 4th power. So we can open this up. It's the difference of the squares. So h2 times h2 squared plus h1 squared. And if we just want to make this a bit simpler, this one is also h2 minus h1 times h2 plus h1. And where we can cancel out these two, so we're going to have a over 12 times h2 plus h1 times h2 squared plus h1 squared. And that's going to be the moment of inertia about the x-axis. Hope everything was clear. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And yeah, you guys take care. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.